back, guys, to another episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. I'm your host, Gian Chikota, and I'm joined by
Luke Young.
And today we were gonna do just women's and men's March Madness, but then an NBA bombshell happened.
Yep.
And the Nuggets fired Mark. What's his first name?
Mike Malone.
Mike Malone and
Mike
their
Malone.
GM,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Calvin Booth and Mike Malone were fired both from the Nuggets within
Which-
like 10 minutes of each other.
I think is insane.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about. Did we talk last episode about the Taylor Jenkins firing? Right?
Yeah. How
We
that
talked
was
how-
astounding, unbelievable.
And that was with what, 9 games? There's like 4 games left, right?
Yeah.
It makes no sense because the Nuggets are going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, they're the 4th seed right now.
Exactly, and it's not like he brought you guys a championship. He brought you your only championship. So I didn't really understand the fire to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you just fire the general manager instantly after that too. It's just a very confusing move.
Yeah.
And it's like it didn't seem like there was you never heard anything bad about coming out from the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Ever since like the Michael Porter Jr. thing with like him not passing and kind of being a ball hog a few years ago?
The Nuggets aren't really a team that like finds themselves in the news for like really bad stuff. So
Yeah.
I was just sitting there eating lunch and all of a sudden I get the notification on my phone. I'm like, what? That has to be fake.
Yeah.
Nope, Shams tweeted it, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. He has to have done something wrong. And which is interesting. Like usually when this happens, a coach like pisses off a star player.
Yeah.
The star player goes to the front office, like what we think happened with John Morant and Taylor Jenkins. But Jokic isn't really that type of person that seems like to like go to the front office and be like, hey, this dude pissed me off.
Yeah.
We got to fire him, especially with 3 games left. Like playoffs start next weekend. Like,
exactly. And like I want to say this could be a reason. I mean, they've lost 4 straight, but like for a coach that won you
he's the winningest coach in franchise history.
Exactly, and that won a championship with you, I feel like you'd give him a little more leadway.
Yeah.
Or if like we said with the Taylor Jenkins thing, if you're gonna fire him, just fire him in the off season.
Yeah.
Like instead of you're gonna be like, yeah, you might not have liked him, but there's a huge difference between being an assistant coach and a head coach, and now one of his top assistants has to be
the interim coach.
Exactly, which also stinks for them because usually the interim coaches get fired. Like nobody talks about that, but like
Missoula's like the only one that's actually like made it as an interim coach. So,
but like most of them, they usually get fired. And nobody talks about it. Like there's no like breaking news. Nuggets fire their interim coach. Like they don't. It's not. They just kind of disappear. No one knows what happens. They just aren't there next year. So I also feel bad for the new assistant because he's like, you're basically going to lose. You'd lose your job unless they manage to win the championship, which there's no way that the 3 teams above them, they're not beating the Lakers, they're not beating the Rockets or the Thunder because the Lakers just destroyed the Thunder. Luka decided, what did Shannon Sharp say? Lou Dort, Air Dort, Lakers in 5.
Yeah, I just think the Nuggets get a lot of credit for drafting Jokic, obviously, but they have kind of wasted his prime outside of this one championship. Like we haven't really seen outside of that one run where they had a relatively like easy path. Like they played the Heat in the finals.
Yeah,
like,
but
the Heat team was like an 8th seed.
The West was hard, but I agree with you. I hear what you say. Or like the East that year. What year did they win it? Who was
22. And like this, Jokic is one of the greatest offensive players of all time. I saw this tweet today. He's averaging like 40, 12, and 10 in the month of April, and they haven't won a single game, and his coach and GM just got fired.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for a pretty solid franchise who hasn't had a history of super depressing years, it's pretty sad what they're doing with this level of a player.
Yeah. Was it the 2021-2022 season?
22-23.
22-23. I was about to say that he were the 1 seed that year.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. No, that was when the Bucks lost. Yeah, and then the KD with the foot thing, right? Was that year too?
No. This was the year that Jimmy Butler turned into Michael Jordan in the first round of the playoffs and beat the 1 seed Bucks, where Giannis like landed on his back in the first game.
Yeah. Of course you remember that.
I mean, it was a bad time for me because I was watching my favorite team get ripped apart by the greatest player I've ever seen in playoffs, Jimmy Butler.
Speaking of playoffs, how are you feeling about the Bucks?
Giannis is like, people are giving Jokic for a lot of credit having good month. Giannis is like putting up numbers we've never seen. Like he's doing wild stuff.
Yes.
Right now, and we're winning games. I don't really like that his second option is Kevin Porter Jr., who wasn't in the league last year, but
it was supposed to be Kyle Kuzma, but
yeah, Kuzma. Oh my God, dude, Kuzma. I think Dame will be back for the playoffs. We don't know what version of Dame, but any version of Dame at this point will be fine.
Better than Kevin Porter Jr.
Exactly. Like, I think we're not going to go anywhere, but at least, like, hey, we have Giannis. Can Giannis win you 4 games? And I believe that he can.
He probably win you 1. I don't know if the next, like, right now if they would play the Pacers.
Yeah, I think we can beat the Pacers.
Would you play the winner of the 1-8 after that? Do you know what the bracket's like?
Yeah, because the 4 or 5 plays the one seed. So we just
basically
get steamrolled by the Cavaliers.
Yeah, but like also, you brought up Giannis. I want to bring up one of my Josh Giddey has. Oh my gosh, yeah. He's been like an MVP since the All-Star break.
He's been having a great month.
It's like when they went on that little streak where they were like won 10 in a row or something.
Yeah.
Or something, and they beat the Lakers in back-to-back games in that crazy half quarter. Yeah. Like, I want to say I have belief in them, but we all know what's going to happen. They're either going to win one game in the play-in game and then get like absolutely destroyed by the Heat, or they will lose. They're going to lose. They're not beating the Magic, the Hawks. Trae Young will have a field day with us because we will not have. Giddey may be a great like passer, rebounder, and scorer, but that dude cannot guard to save his life. Yeah. So like. It's going to be very rough. So at least your team will be in the playoffs. My team will be like not in the playoffs at all. Yeah. But we can. I just wanted to talk about that because I was going into this. I was thinking of what we're going to talk about. I'm like, all right, just college basketball, kind of a recap of the season. Yeah. And then I get a notification from Underdog. I don't gamble on it, but it gives me like the.
Yeah, they give you good notifications.
Yeah, they give me good notifications, and I was like,
they're always like the first ones too.
Exactly.
Which is cool. So.
And I was like, okay, we're talking about this now. So I wanted to start with that. Now we can talk about the NCAA. We'll start with women's because that happened first.
Yeah.
Gino won his, I think, 12th or 14th, one or the other, ever national title.
Pretty bizarre.
And they won by what? Almost 30?
They won by 23.
Oh, okay.
Still. 23 is like
against South Carolina.
Yeah.
Who was like dominating everybody. They also just got the highest. I saw they got I'm blanking on her name. She led the women in scoring.
She transferred to UConn?
No, she transferred to South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
She was on Florida State. She was an absolute walking bucket.
Okay.
So they just got another big pickup, South Carolina in the portal, but that doesn't help.
Yeah.
And a crazy thing that I was talking about with one of my buddies is Paige in the first 3 games of the tournament had like 30, 31, 34, 40. I don't know in the specific order.
Yeah.
But in the Final 4 and championship games, they're like, oh, she didn't do good. She only had 17.
Yeah.
But if you look at the players around her, I think in the championship, UConn had 2 players who scored 24.
Yep, Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd.
Yeah, and AZ Fudd is insane. Yeah. It's insane that she's a freshman too, and she's that good.
Yeah.
And
Sarah Strong also had 15 rebounds.
Exactly. She's putting the strong in her name.
Yeah.
That's a knee slapper.
That was a good one.
People are like, oh, she's, you were telling me before we started recording that people were giving her kind of garbage about staying in college. It's like, guys, she was the best player in the country in her freshman year.
Yeah.
And I do think if she was if they didn't call that moving screen, which she did not move at all. Like, okay, Caitlin Clark, yes, she's good. Like, don't get me wrong, but that was not a moving screen.
Yeah.
And everyone knows it. Paige could have easily had 2 or 3 rings.
Yeah, Becker's also, she missed 2 years.
Exactly, because she tore her ACL and literally snapped her leg.
She broke her leg her sophomore year. She only played 19 games, and she was like still like, I'm pretty sure like all tournament team. And then her 3rd year, she tore her ACL. She was out for the whole year. And her 4th year, she came back, and she was first team All-American, and they lost to Iowa, which is not even that bad because Iowa was loaded and had the best player on the planet.
Exactly.
And then, of course, this year they come back and win. So
yeah, and another kind of like, I don't want to get sad in here, but they're talking now because Gigi Bryant would have been a freshman, and
she always wanted to go to UConn.
She wanted to go to UConn.
Yeah.
So that also, like, I don't want to say I felt sad, but it's like that kind of stinks that like
she could have been there. Yeah.
She could have been there. Like, imagine her, Paige, and AZ Fudd.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been disgusting. Like Paige, throughout her 4 years of actually playing because she didn't play for 1 year. Averaged 20, 14 that was the year when she broke her leg, and then 21 and basically 20.
Yeah.
So like she's gonna give you points. She's gonna give you buckets.
Yeah, she's also like playing on a super team right now. This UConn team
exactly
is like a big
like,
three.
Like
she
exactly.
She doesn't need to score like 25 to win.
Exactly,
so.
And the fact that she's still putting up 20 is impressive too, and she's really efficient.
She's super efficient.
Yeah, she shot 70% in one of the games.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
But no, she shot insane, and I'm really excited to see to see her versus Caitlin Clark in the NBA.
Yeah, WNBA,
That's gonna be box office.
That first game, they better put that on national TV. It's probably gonna break some records.
And then when Juju if the WNBA messes this up, like they have so much talent coming from college. Juju's gonna be a bucket.
Yeah.
Paige is a bucket. AZ Fudd's gonna be a bucket. That center on UCLA. That one girl with the dyed hair on South Carolina. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, she plays on the Fever. Yeah.
I don't know her name. Asia Boston, maybe.
Aliyah Boston. Yeah.
Ava Wilson.
Boston. Yeah.
On
Asia Wilson.
Asia, sorry,
yep.
I blanked. I switched.
They have a lot of superstars.
They have a lot of superstars.
That's what we're trying to say here.
Yeah. So they have a bunch of talent coming in, and we already saw like the growth of the WNBA go up just last year alone. With like obviously like Caitlin Clark, and now they got more. Like this draft class is talented too. Paige, I know people don't like Haley Van Lith, but like come on,
she's gonna be a top 5 pick.
She's good. Why am I blanking on who else is declaring for the draft? Because that UCLA girl came back.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she came back, which is going to be like Zach Edey all over.
Yeah.
She's basically 6'7" for a girl is insane.
Yeah, Lauren Betts.
Yeah, Lauren Betts.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So I'm excited for that WNBA just because, now you get to finally like I feel like so many people are always more excited for when these players turn pro, just because it's like the competition's better. They finally play like they start to I think develop a lot more and a lot better too. So it's going to be an exciting games coming into the season like, and then isn't the San Francisco or Oakland whatever San Francisco Valkyries or whatever and the Toronto Tempo, right? Aren't those?
Oh yeah, there's 2 new expansion teams.
Starting next year, or is it the year after?
I think it's this year.
That'll be exciting too. Like a new franchise, you can get Paige to like kind of head. That's gonna fill your seats out.
Yeah, I don't know who got the first.
I think it might be the Valkyries, but I could be mistaken. But no matter who it goes to, this is gonna be a great like draft, and it's going to be
the Dallas Wings got the first pick.
Yeah, so I mean they're going to have.
So they're going to get Paige basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's.
I don't know who else you would take.
Like no, and this. I feel like this is kind of with Wemby, like Wemby's draft class. It was a great draft class.
Yeah.
But it's just like you can't not take Wemby.
Yeah.
She's like, I mean, she's not 4 or whatever.
Yeah. But she was the best high school prospect coming out of college, or high school, ever for women's.
There was a video, I saw a clip where she was like, in 5 years, I want to be winning a national title for UConn.
Yeah.
And then they played that clip, and it showed like her winning the title. So she kind of manifested it, and maybe, she manifests the title and brings her title to the Dallas Wings, who haven't really been good.
Cool. Yeah. It'd be cool to have Luka and Paige in the same city.
But, Nico Harrison is a dummy.
Had to ruin that one.
Yeah. Because, like, her and then Arike Agumbawale, who people forget about, like was absolutely insane, and she's known for that shot she hit for Notre Dame in the Final Four
or was it championship? I think it was national championship
to win the game, right? Yeah, so like she's more known for that.
Yeah,
which is kind of sad because she's been quietly a great player for the Dallas Wings. Yeah. So it's a very exciting time to be a Wings fan because you're going to get 2 insanely good guards.
Yeah.
So, but now we can kind of talk men's March Madness.
Yeah.
Do you
want to do Final Four? Like Final Four first?
Yeah. We can
do that.
I mean,
I mean, yeah. What do you think of the Auburn game?
It's
Auburn, Florida.
I think
Walter
it was. Clayton. We were talking how Auburn was like the most overhyped team. I think or under.
We said the most vulnerable 1 seed.
Yeah, and I think we were spot on.
100%.
I think if they played Duke or Houston, they would have gotten beat anyway.
Yep.
I just didn't. I don't know. It's just like something was watching them. They just didn't seem, like too dominant. And
well, Broom just seemed tired the whole time. He didn't seem like he was
dealing with
engaged in terms of their offense. Yeah, his arm was hurting. He seemed like he was sick.
Exactly. He looked fatigued.
Yeah.
He looked like he was.
He would come off. He would go to the bench and just
he would walk off and
really heavy.
Like that, and it seems like he was struggling.
Yep.
But also, like, Walter Clayton.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I mean, like, I know last night people are going to say he didn't really have a great game.
Yeah, I mean.
But if you look at the stat sheet, he filled up the stats. He had, I think, 6 or 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 or 12 maybe points. Yeah. And he came into the spotlight when he needed to. But we can still focus on that game. I felt like was a lot like the score says it was close.
Yeah.
But that Duke Auburn game, I don't know how Duke didn't pull out that game.
Oh my gosh.
The big thing that was shocking to me when I was looking at the stats
for Houston Duke.
Yeah, for Houston Duke is Maluach, who's 7'2", didn't have a single rebound, and he was guarding Juwan Roberts, who was 6'8".
Yeah.
And he had I think 12.
Yeah.
And now Houston. Have you seen that clip of there's a video of them in practice? These two guys
like diving
diving
on the floor. Yeah.
So like they're gonna bail you, they're gonna wear you. That's what they did. They wore out Duke.
Yep, basically.
And that's what happened to them too last night. They were dominating the whole game, but in that last minute they got worn out and they just got tired and got worn out, which stinks. But no, I think that I thought I was going to be right. I was texting you during the game. I said, we're going to do a podcast about March Madness. I'm going to talk about how I was right, who the winner of Duke and Houston would have won the national championship.
Yeah.
Because it looked like that. Houston was like, even though the score was relatively close, like I think the biggest got was 12, it looked like Houston was going to win the game with pretty much ease. So the fact that Florida came back and won is another crazy thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also happy for Walter Clayton. He went to Iona, where my dad went to. So I have a lot of family. My uncle lives right by the campus too. Yeah. So I have some attachment to him as well. Also got third place in my bracket, so I'm very happy about that. But what were your kind of thoughts about the Final Four and then the championship?
For the Final Four, I kind of saw the Auburn-Florida game coming. I hadn't watched much Walter Clayton. So to me, that game, it looked like he was the best player in college, and he definitely seemed like you saw the whole scoring output, and the Auburn guards were literally grabbing his jersey when he didn't have the ball. They were touching him on his chest, full on face guard, which is the highest honor you can give a basketball player, and he still finished with 32.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, this dude is the real deal. And then for the Auburn side, the guards looked good, but the bigs for just Broom and just seemed out of it.
Broom was the biggest reason because Baker Mazzara had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Broom. They couldn't get anything going with him.
Yeah, Florida's got 3 or 4 bigs they can throw at him, and it's clearly tired him out. And Auburn was so reliant on him to be their offense that it just wore him out near the end of that game. Even the first half, it seemed like he was tired.
Yeah.
But then going into the second game, Duke is rolling immediately. The first 15 minutes, I was like, okay, Duke's gonna win.
Yeah, because they were up big too, right?
They were up big, yeah. And I was like, okay, Flag looks great. Duke is playing good. And then Houston closes out the first half with these few threes. And they get a little momentum going into the second half. I'm like, okay, all they got to do is do the exact same thing they did in the first half, and Duke's just gonna walk away with this. And the first half started off pretty good for both teams, and then Duke goes on this scoring drought for 10 minutes. The only field goal they had for 10 minutes was the kick-out Flag 3.
Yeah.
That looked like it put the game away.
Uh-huh.
And then just costly turnovers, and it just seemed like Houston was a team of men playing against a bunch of team of teenagers.
Yeah.
And they kind of that's kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they just hustled out strong Duke. And I thought they sold when the guy tapped the ball in the inbound when Kenneth was trying to inbound.
I was like, what are you doing?
That was one of the biggest brain farts we've ever seen in sports, and
the fact that they were able to pull out of that too.
Yep. And then the rebound, one of the worst calls of the year of like this decade. That flag rebound, that is like the cleanest rebound I've ever seen.
Oh
all he's doing is literally just reaching over him, which is
he was getting
it's not
boxed.
like he's over his back.
Exactly. It's not like he was jumping on him. He was getting boxed out, and he went to reach for a rebound, and then called a foul on that.
Which is really weird because the whole time Houston was being super physical.
Exactly,
with Duke,
and you saw in the championship game last night too. Like it was a really physical game.
It just seemed like why would that ref in that moment was like, all right, I'm gonna decide this game right here. Mm-hmm. Call this foul on the biggest freshman sensation we've seen since
probably Zion.
Who knows? Yeah, Zion probably was the last one. And I'm gonna call this foul, and that's how this game's gonna be over. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then even still, Flag got the shot he wanted. Like that is a good shot. He was wide open.
Yeah, they were.
It looked like it was going in.
I thought it was going in.
When he shot, I was like, all right, that's in. Duke's gonna win this. And then it's just kind of a storybook ending where Houston came back against Duke and then choked against Florida.
Exactly. They're like, because I think you said it's kind of like men playing against like teenagers, like kids our age. I think the youth just got to Duke because Proctor's a veteran. Yeah, Gillis is a veteran, but
I mean Proctor's only a junior.
Exactly.
So it's not like these Houston guys are all like fifth-year transfer seniors.
Yeah, exactly.
They've
like
been playing
LJ
basketball
Cry
forever.
age got to Duke.
Yeah.
Because like you can have as much talent as you want in the world, but like if you don't have the numbers and like the age, the experience, because especially in those moments where like you're playing on a football stadium or on a football field in front of 100,000
people. Imagine being an 18-year-old doing that. Like
exactly.
Us. Like, I just can't imagine.
Cooper Flag's younger than us.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. This dude should be in high school and he's playing in sold-out football arenas.
Yeah.
Like it's just another level of craziness, and I just feel bad for Cooper Flag too because like the whole world is now talking trash to him. Yeah. And it's like, dude, he's gonna be a max contract player.
Yeah, in like 3 years.
Exactly. Like we all know how good he is. Like, you can't let that like I wish we were old enough to kind of understand what was happening when Zion and them lost. Yeah. So like because the stuff that people gave them.
Yep.
So I would assume it was probably, I don't remember because we were younger. So, but I'm assuming that it was relatively similar where like this dude's not going to be good. It's like, bro, this guy's going to be a max contract player.
Yeah, and the thing with Flag, I think he's so interesting as a prospect because a lot of prospects that are going to go that high have really high ceilings, where I think his ceiling is high, but for the first time ever in my life, I see a prospect with a really high floor where the worst he's going to be is going to be like the second best player in a championship team, where he's going to be like Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan.
Exactly. So he'll be a Hall of Famer. Well, that's a big.
That's
reaction.
that's the biggest floor you can have. Like basically.
Exactly.
I think that's his destiny. I don't think he'll ever be a 1 on a championship team where the guy they're going to be like, all right, you're going to be the guy to score all the points for us, and I think he's going to be the elevator role player, similar to like I don't want to say Jason Tatum isn't that. But if Tatum was on like a different team, I really think that he would be similar to what Flag is going to be.
I agree.
I think Flag.
They have a very similar build too.
Yeah, I think Flag is going to be paired with somebody who is a dynamic scorer, maybe lacks in other areas.
Yeah, he's going to be
terms
paired
of like
with Josh Giddey, and he's going to be Giannis's worst nightmare. He's going to get drafted by the Bulls.
All right, maybe. No.
Is there any? Are they in the lottery even if they're in the?
I think if they make the play-in, they're out of the lottery, or they make the playoffs, they're out of the lottery. But I think Flag is going to be like this elevated, like Swiss Army knife.
I agree.
For a championship team.
Yeah, I mean, what? He's 6'9" or something.
I think he's only 6'8", but he's like really wide shoulders.
Exactly.
His arms are super long.
He shoots really well.
Yeah.
And he's a great defender. I think he led them in all 6 major scoring and statistical.
Which is crazy. Malawach did not lead the team in rebounds. Like that dude is 7'2". Like I understand why he's so like revered as a prospect because of the potential that he could be a great defender.
I think he's got to come back one more year to prove that.
I think so.
Because he kind of got cooked in the last few rounds, like the last 2 especially. Yeah. I think he's got to come back, prove that he can defend better, prove that he can score a little more.
Yeah.
Because like he only averaged like 6 points and like 8 rebounds, which the rebounds is good, but you want him to average some more points.
Yeah.
His blocks, I don't know how Cooper Flag averaged more blocks than him. Yeah. Like, dude,
Flag is absurd.
But I know, but every time they drive to the paint, they're pushing him towards you. You should block every. I think there was a point where he did lead them in blocks.
Yep.
But Cooper Flag obviously decided to say no. But I just think he needs to come back to kind of prove that he can kind of play on his own because I feel like Concaneppo's going to declare. I think
he's going to go
because he showed how good of a shooter he is. But I think Malowacz should stay for one more year, kind of like Fopowski, and kind of carry him.
Yep.
So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting offseason. It's already started.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy offseason.
Yeah.
For Illinois, for Wisconsin. So
yeah. In terms of the national championship, I just want to touch on Clayton. Clayton obviously had a brutal first 3/4 of that game, but I think he really showed how great of a player he is because that he didn't let that bother him. And the last 7 minutes, he was Florida's offense, and all 11 points he got were the biggest 11 points of his career. And every time he made a shot, it felt like the biggest shot of the game. And Florida's I don't know. I just think Will Richard played out of his mind. He was the reason they were in it the whole time.
Exactly. And he was. It's kind of like they were talking on the broadcast. It's like a storybook ending too. How he was Todd Golden's first recruit, and how he was the best player in the biggest moment for them.
Yep.
And I think you make a good point too. Where but Clayton, I want to I'm not saying he's not good, but Clayton got a big help from timeouts.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of his baskets where he got big and ones. That one 3-pointer he had out of the timeout. So a lot of them were coming off of play designs because the coaches realized, all right, today's just not his day with the on ball. So we got to get him moving off ball, which we've been knowing he's a great off ball, moving around. I don't want to say this, but he's kind of like Steph Curry in the fact where he's running around, he's getting busy. He's not just going to be how I am when we play pickup, just standing in the corner waiting for a 3-pointer to make my one in every three.
Yeah.
3-pointers.
Clayton keeps drawing comparisons to Murray, and I think that's a lot of that reason is because they look like each other, to be honest. And I think Murray is Clayton's only 6'3", Murray's 6'5", and I just think Murray's a lot bigger than him, a lot more dynamic as a shot creator, especially in the mid range.
Yeah.
Where I can see Clayton being a super poor man's Curry in what you just talked about in terms of the off ball.
He's just a great off ball movement guy. Where he's not going to be an easy dude to guard.
No.
Because you're going to have to follow him around a lot, which you're going to get tired. And he's always been in great condition, even when he was at Iona.
Yeah.
He was always in great condition. Now, obviously, he's kind of developed a lot more and grown into himself and become more confident in himself. So that's a whole nother thing. But, no, I do think that he could be a good – because we've seen that shot the three-point make ability where he makes that 1-3 in the corner against Auburn when he had the dude's hand was literally you couldn't put your hand any closer without touching the ball. And he made that, and he was fading backwards. So it's I agree with you. I think he could be and this is no disrespect to him. I just do think he could be a poor man Steph Curry, where filling the shoes of Steph Curry is a crazy thing. People when Trae Young came out of the draft said
Trae Young's a different player. I hate when people do that. Trae Young, he passes the ball. That dude is not moving for just not at all. He's going to stand at the hash mark, wait to get the ball back, and then somebody's going to set up a screen.
Exactly. And Curry is...
If Curry passes the ball, he's literally going to run around for as long until he gets it back.
He'll just run in a circle and then lose the dude and get open.
People talk about his movement all the time, but I think it's underrated, and I hate it when people were when I know Trae Young had a crazy college career, but Trae Young also had the ball 95% of the time.
Exactly. That's why he was
at
able
Oklahoma.
To...
And you see him now on the Hawks. If you watch a Hawks game, you just a few times a game, just put your eyes on Trae Young. Watch him. If he does pass the ball, first of all, he's going to bring the ball up. Somebody's going to set him a screen. It's literally going to be a lob, a layup, or a kick to the corner.
Exactly.
And if it's a kick to the corner, he's just going to run to the other corner, and then maybe he'll just fade back up to the top to get the ball back. He's not going to Steph Curry runs around probably 6 screens of possession. Yeah. And I don't think Trae Young's ever done that ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but overall, I was talking to one of my buddies. Great way to end the college basketball season.
Yeah, that was a great season.
Exciting, great. I think those are the best. This was probably one of the best Final Fours ever. It was the 4 best teams in the country. It was the most competitive. All the games were competitive games.
Yep.
And where NBA playoffs is kicking in soon. That'll be exciting.
Next week, that'll be awesome. The West is gonna be must-see TV.
Exactly.
The East is gonna be pretty boring because
you're not.
The Cavs are gonna play the the Hawks in the
The
first round.
Hawks are,
And it's going to be
it's
like
probably gonna
the
be the
Magic.
Hawks. It could be the
or the Bulls, and it's
or
just
the
going to be
Heats.
like.
Have the Heat qualified yet or no?
I think all the teams are in.
Okay.
Um,
I think I have my opinions on the plan. We can do that in another episode because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it because it's a whole thing. But
yeah, but the Cavs are just gonna. I just think that the West, in terms of just competitiveness,
I totally agree.
is just gonna be.
It was like that
unbelievable.
last year too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Playoff Ant. Do you think he will make?
I think we'll be here as long as Julius Randle doesn't get in his way.
Yeah,
I think he'll be there.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, it just like it stinks that March Madness is over and probably one of the more exciting sports periods of the time. But now we got
baseball and basketball.
Baseball, MLB
Golf.
is going to start. I mean, the Masters is this week.
Yep.
So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm more than excited for NBA playoffs. That's what I watch. I don't watch that regular season.
I'm an NBA guy. I don't really watch the regular season either.
It's
especially
just so hard to watch.
It's just like, especially like late. I watched it earlier in the year. I watched most of the I watched all of the playoff for the in-season tournament. I watched all those games because they actually but this like later season, once you like start to like kind of like see where you're gonna
they don't really
where you're gonna see, it's like it doesn't matter. But it's the nice thing about the NBA. It's kind of like pretty easy to follow without like having to watch it.
Yeah.
So
you can kind of just look at the score, look who's kind of going off, and then it's not like
read some tweets, look some Instagram posts.
Exactly.
But the playoffs I always lock in for. Try to watch as many games as I can. So that'll be fun. I think it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a good year.
The later Eastern Conference series are gonna be really good. All the Western Conference series are gonna be good.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. We're trying to make this more bigger. So if you guys can do anything, subscribe, share it with your buddies. That means a lot to us. So thank you. Luke, got anything else to add to them?
Nope. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.